Check, mic check, 1, 2.
Yo, is this thing on or what?
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Platform Podcast. As always, I'm your host, DJ Dex, and today we are sitting down with a rising country music star, pop artist, kind of does it all, sitting here with Brady Riley. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm
Awesome.
glad that you're able to stop by and take the time out of your busy schedule.
I was only 45 minutes late. It's okay.
I don't have anything to do today, so it's perfect. We're scheduled around you guys. So.
Absolutely.
How's everything been? You been doing all right?
I've been doing okay. It's been a rough few months, but
Yeah.
I'm ready for this year to be over. I'm ready for 2024.
It's coming up quick. I mean,
it couldn't come faster.
yeah.
I'm ready for it.
Well, we're going to get into a couple different topics today. Obviously, you being a up-and-coming artist, talking about some of the things in the music industry, getting into how you're creating songs, your writing process, who to work with production-wise, people that you want to work with, people that you look up to, the artists that you're listening to right now, whether they're in your field or not, and just being able to kind of tell your story. So To get things started, first off, if you guys are watching on YouTube, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, leaving some comments, getting that algorithm going. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, hit that follow button, leave us a 5-star review, and then tune in every Wednesday when we get these things going. But for you, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how long you've been in Nashville, and what you're doing.
So I'm originally from Texas, from a small town named Winnie, like the poo. And I actually put out a song about my hometown called Welcome to Chambers County and pissed a lot of people off. That's what I do. I moved to Nashville early 2021 and like immediately started working my ass off because, I mean, that's what you got to do in this town is hustle. And so I spent like my first year here just networking my ass off and meeting the right people and being at the right place at the right time. And it's really paid off.
How did you go about like the networking? Like, how did you go about
hanging out at Red Door every night, just like being in Midtown, just being like where anyone was gonna be at. Mm-hmm. Like that's where I was. Like it sucks now because I've kind of become a hermit. But there were so many people that were so used to seeing me every single night, and like people used to say like, "Oh, I see Brady everywhere." Like I was everywhere. I was very like omnipresent, which is fine, but it like grew old really fast too at the same time. Because now it's like I know way too many people in this town.
Yeah, it becomes, even though it's such a big city, it can become a small town pretty quick.
It's so small here.
Yeah, I've noticed it just obviously being out DJing. Like clearly, there's an abundance of tourists that are out all the time, but you still get to start seeing the same kind of regulars.
Yeah, I used to like hang out in Midtown like every night, and now it's like these past few months, like I've just been going through stuff, and like I rarely go out now, but like when I do go out, I've been going out like in East, you know, that vibe, which is completely different than Midtown, but it's awesome because I go to like a bar over there and I don't know anyone, and it's truckers or like fucking bikers or people that like in a band, or they look like they're in a band, or they haven't showered in a few days, but
just a little grungy over there in East Nashville.
I love it.
Yeah,
it's kind of my vibe right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of good spots out there. I mean, you can hit Santa's and then anywhere over there too.
Lakeside Lounge.
Lakeside, yeah.
Love Lakeside.
I still have never been to Lakeside.
It's so gross, but I love it. It's like, it reminds me of like bars from my hometown. They're like all these old men. Like I wish you could smoke in there because like that's such a vibe. But it's like a fun game. Like, is he homeless or is he just from East Nashville? Like you just never know. But Lakeside Lounge is inch for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of everywhere in East. I feel like you can get that vibe. And it's
so much cheaper over there too.
That's always something that I try and tell friends that are coming to visit. Like they always want to just come to Broadway. I'm like, dude, there's so many other spots. Like you can go to spots.
Roll my eyes and say, ugh, but like I'm on Broadway every week.
Yeah, you're talking shit, but then you're the enabler that'll end up bringing them there.
Let's go to Whiskey Row.
Yeah, even going to Midtown is a little bit cheaper, but then you go out to East Nashville and it's just like,
I think the problem with Midtown, well, it's like Broadway's no better, but like the problem with Midtown is it's like frat boys and like girls that are throwing up on each other. It's just, ugh.
Little more college bar than
I'm out. I'm so fucking out on that. I don't got time.
Well, let's get into a couple things here.
Let's do it.
First thing I want to talk about, obviously, I have a lot of DJs on here, being a DJ myself. That is one thing that I have always found very strange within the country community. When you look at genres like an EDM or like a hip hop or even getting into pop, I feel like are so plugged into DJs and getting their music out to DJs so that way it can be played by the DJs, whether they're on the radio, whether they're playing at festivals, nightclubs, bars, all that kind of stuff. Country music is so much harder not only to find and to get, obviously, if you're not just like downloading off of Google or something like that, but to download high quality copies of it off of a record pool, or country artists putting it out for you to be able to download on a SoundCloud or anything like that, is so hard to get that I feel like it is one of the main reasons why DJs don't play a lot of country. And I just wanted to see like what your methods were for getting your music out to be able to get played by DJs, or if you had a thought on kind of why country doesn't get their music out that way.
I've never had like any of my music remixed, but I think it'd be so dope just because it's so different. And like, I think country music, why I feel like it's hard to pull, which I don't even know if this makes sense, but like a lot of country music is tracked live, like with a live band, whereas like hip hop and like pop music is very much like all done on a computer.
Yep.
So I don't know if that makes a difference, like with stem wise. I mean, I have every stem for my music, so if you want to remix it, we got you. But
which is huge for DJs. Like if you can
I have all the stems like for everything. But that's also, I play with tracks too sometimes. But I feel like if you're not like Morgan Wallen, then no one really cares. And like also country music is really sad, a lot of it. So I don't know if like DJs are intimidated, but I feel like you can make any sad song a little fun. I mean, I do.
That's one thing I definitely agree with. Like even now, Zach Bryan being so popular, and I'll have people request Zach Bryan, and I'm like, dude, I love him. Does everyone
want to cry in the club?
I'm like, I'm not playing that shit.
I'm honestly down.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not playing that shit right now. Like all of his stuff is slower, like emotional. It's down tempo. It's not like he has something that's a 120 BPM.
And I think that's what a lot of it is. It's country music is so slow tempo. So it's like, unless you have like a Morgan Wallen song like Last Night, that song's like boppy and poppy. You can play that in a club and people are going to dance to it.
But even that, like the majority of Last Night that gets played isn't at the regular 100 BPM tempo.
His voice sounds so distressed.
Yeah, and it's always like remixed or blended with a different EDM track.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's made it so much more popular too, because even in a club or a festival, I mean, you'll see Diplo playing it or all these random EDM
like Diplo, like for example, like he made like a whole ass country album, which I fucking love it. I think it's so sick. And I feel like there's a lot of like deep tracks that like people have never like gotten their hands on or like listened to. Like Lee Brice has a song with cheat codes that's so fucking good. And I'm like, and it's great. So I'm like, why is it not huge? Kelsey Ballerini did a song with the Chainsmokers. I think it's sick, but it's not huge. Like there's just, I think country music is in a place now where it's starting to evolve like into not necessarily like that traditional country that people are so used to hearing, but like it's more becoming pop sounding and radio sounding, if that makes any sense. But I think now that it's evolving, I would hope like within the next year or so that like, you know, I will walk into a club and like hear my song being played, which is dope. Like there's no better feeling than like hearing your song on the radio or like hearing it played in a restaurant or like wherever. But I don't know. I think it's just all about evolving. And I think we as like artists have to do that together, because in a way our circles are all just one big network. And like the more that we can collaborate with each other, the more that we can put out new stories with each other and like make shit like that happen.
Yeah, the collaboration is key. And even artists like a Morgan Wallen, I mean, he's doing stuff with hip hop artists. Like he does a lot of tracks with Lil Durk. I think of somebody like a Kane Brown more recently put out a song with Loud Luxury, and same kind of thing where I listen to that song and I'm like, this is a fucking dope track. And I don't think it plays out as well as I would like it to. And I figured it would be like a more popular song too. But that collaboration piece where hopefully these country artists will see that a lot of these songs that are being remixed are starting to blow up a little bit more and start to think like, damn, maybe I should go collaborate with a Diplo, with a Dylan Francis, with a Fisher, whoever else, and start to kind of break the mold a little bit of the country songs, and just kind of.
Well, country music is so set on like 3 chords and the truth. So like anything that's not that like stresses them out. Like if you're not singing about a fucking truck or a dirt road or your girl breaking your heart and you're like on the tailgate of your truck now crying about it, it like sends people into a spiral. So that's like when I do a live show with like other straight artists, it's so crazy to like watch people's faces like when I go on stage because they're like, what the fuck is about to happen?
So talk about that a little bit of being obviously very different in the country community and out of the norm of the country community. There's not a lot of LGBTQ.
There's not a lot of this
like,
walking around Nashville.
No, there's, I mean, I think of even, I don't even really know any gay country artist off the top of my head. I would think like the only one that you could even somewhat kind of say would be Lil Nas, but I don't consider him country at all.
No.
Just because he had a song about
He had
Old
one
Town
song
Road
that
and
was overplayed
truck,
for a year and a half, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, so much of the country stereotype is the big redneck, like try that in a small town type vibes. I feel like for you, it's just breaking that stereotype and that norm, and hopefully getting it out there to more country fans and to kind of change that mold of what typical country fans like and typical country artists too.
Well, I think like country music is all about storytelling, and that's mainly what it is, like to me. And I appreciate that's one thing I love about country music is it is storytelling. It's not just a hook like it is. Well, some country music is storytelling, and I think the more people that we allow in to like let that happen, like in my community or just like whatever, like people that are just a little different, I think the more music that we'll be able to have that is real music because I think music saves lives, honestly. And if you don't think music saves lives, then you've never needed your fucking life saved. But a lot of, for me, like with my writing, it's like I write what I feel and I write real shit. I'm not writing about trucks. I'm also like a very like present person. Like when I write a song, I hate holding on to music. Like I've been working on my record for 2 years now, and it's like killing me not to just be like, here it is.
Let me get this out. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not like, people get annoyed with me because I'll write a song and I'm like, ooh, what if I put this out in 2 weeks? Because I mean, I'm independent. I can do that. There's no one telling me what I can and can't do. But I hate holding on to it, but I know it's how it works. I know it's like the process, but I'm so impatient because I like to put out shit that like I'm going through right now that I'm relating to.
Yeah.
Because like shit that I've written 2 years ago, I don't really relate to it anymore. So it's like that hard balance. And I think that's what's taken so long with like putting this record out for me is I'm constantly writing for it. Like something will happen and I'm like, oh, this will fit the record so good. So I've like cut songs, I've added songs, I've cut more songs. So it's just, it's a process making an album for sure.
So when you're saying like you want to get it out and then you don't, is it because of the aspect of like being able to promote it correctly and
just like also the amount of time and money that I've put into it? It's my baby. Like I want it to be perfect. I don't want to just like record shit and put it out and be like, okay, there you go. Like there's an album. Like this is my first record. So it's like, it's important to me. Yeah. I'm not going to put out some bullshit that's just like, I'm like one artist that does not give a fuck about like TikTok and shit. So like, and that pisses so many people off. But
yeah, I feel like you'd be great at it.
It literally gets me fucking hives. But I just want to put out music to put out music because it makes me happy. And I get to do it every day because I love doing it. And I'm so grateful for that. But again, like I do post on like TikTok and shit to promote music, but I don't sit there and like sit in my car and be like, we just wrote this song. Let me know what you think. When like we realistically wrote it 2 years ago. And now like suddenly like, oh, let's try to promote this. Yeah. I think that's so fucking cringy. And I think that's what's wrong with our fucking industry these days, honestly. I mean, the amount of like, especially like over COVID and shit, the amount of like TikTok, which there's some that like very well deserving, but there's some that I'm like, you had one song that popped off on TikTok and now I think you're absolute fucking trash. And I hate like saying that, but I'm like, I've seen people bust their fucking asses off that like deserve that success. And then just because like the industry slowed down in 2020 and now we have like these artists that are essentially taking over makes me fucking sick. And it's something that you have to look at marketing wise and branding yourself. And that's what I'm like, when is this going to be fucking over? Yeah. And that's probably what record labels look at where they're like, all right, we don't care that you think that this artist sucks because they're
look
making
at
them
it-
a shit ton of money.
Exactly.
But then these artists are also getting fucked because they don't know anything about the industry. They just like wrote
So
a
the
song
record
and-
label's just getting all the fucking money from them. Yeah. And they just have no idea. So,
Yep.
But it's a wild ride right now. And I do agree in the aspect of like being able to tell your story in country music and the songs that you've written. Like you talked a little bit about Welcome to Chambers County. You have, well, I mean, what, 6 other singles out right now?
Yeah, I think so.
It's like 5 or 6.
5 or 6.
But even the songs that I've listened to of yours, you have a very, very unique voice that
Thank you.
is, I was listening to songs earlier and I'm like, it sounds so good. And like, I was trying to compare it to somebody and I couldn't pinpoint like anyone to compare it to, which I think is really good.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, because it keeps you unique and not like, oh, they sound like this other person, which is awesome. And you can, from what I've listened to, like you have songs that are a little bit more like country rock, and then you have ones that are more country pop.
Every song sounds different, and I love that.
It's awesome.
Because it tells a story a little different.
Yeah. Yeah, and the even the stories that you tell and the lyricism through the songs is very good. Like Chambers County is especially, I mean, it paints the picture of that smaller
That
town
song
in Texas.
is so special.
Yeah.
It really is. When I put that song out, I was so fucking nervous. And I remember when I sent it to my mom for the first time, she called me and she was like, Brady Allen. She's like, this is so good. She's like, what are people gonna say? And I'm like, I don't know. And
Do
then,
they
like,
still live there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, well, my mom and dad don't. Well, my dad like lives in the area, but not that town. But like my grandparents do, and like cousins and shit. But it's so funny because when I first ever like teased that song, it blew up on Facebook of all fucking places because that's like I don't know, family and friends and hometown shit. But the amount of people that were so excited to hear it versus the amount of people that were like, "What the fuck? You're talking shit." But I'm like, it's the truth, and you know it.
That's the funny part is you know that they're like, fuck, I have no argument because I know that this shit is true.
And it's crazy. I like went home I released that song in like June, and I went home for the first time since I released it like that October, for like a hometown festival, and I was just blown away by the amount of people that were just like walking up to me and just kind of like speculating who the song was about and like guessing all these names, and it was just so funny because I don't ever tell anyone like who I wrote it about, but it's just fucking hilarious.
But you know that they're gonna make assumptions,
oh my God.
and
The assumptions are people started like spilling tea to me like in my DMs like
Yeah.
about like our hometown. I'm like, I didn't know any of this, but like slay.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me know.
you're like, that'll be on the next one. All right.
Next album.
Even collaborations that you have done, I know this one didn't end up going out, but you had that song that you were working on with a DJ here, Matt OMG Parker, which when you sent that over, that was another one to me where I'm like, fuck, this is a perfect one that is playable out as a
Absolutely.
DJ. It sounds good. And that's the kind of crossover that we were talking about earlier where it is country, it is poppy, and then it has a little bit more of like an electronic bounce to it. And it sounded great. Is that stuff that you're kind of working on that's also going to be added in this next work process that you have? Or
I don't think I would put that on my album, but I would for sure put that out as like a single. That song is such like a summery vibe song. And we haven't even finished it. I've written the song, like the song's done, but we just got to get in a room and finish it, honestly.
Yeah.
But I love that song, and I think it'd be a fucking smash.
Yeah.
So that song with Matt, we were literally sitting on his couch,
And just made it.
and he was like, "Do you want to make a song?" And I was like, "Okay." And so we went to a studio and we did that. That was literally so random. I think we were just like, I was helping him like clean his house that day or something. I don't know. But he was like, "Do you want to work on music?" And I was like, "Sure." And so we went in his studio and we did that like in an hour. And yeah, that song was born. But as far as like producers go, I work with several different producers. Like I did Poor Decisions with Paul Sykes. I did Chambers County and Not Your Rehab with Simon Reed. And then Bone Dry, I wrote that with Sarah Bryce, which is Lee Bryce's wife.
Okay.
And this guy, Tony McVaney, and Julia Shane. And Tony ended up producing that song. And Oil and Water, I do with Jamie Colazzo. Like I love working with different producers, and I think a lot of that comes from I like every one of my songs to sound a little different, and I'm also like testing the waters with producers. And not that like I haven't found one that I love, but like I don't know. I love like taking chances on people. Like if someone wants to work with me, I'm gonna take it. Like why not?
How much on the production side of things do you like? Did you go to school for anything music?
I actually did. Forgot about this until you literally just said it, but I literally did go to the fuck. It was like a school in LA, but I did it like online when I lived in Austin. But we had like a teacher there. But like I have my license for like
audio engineering
shit. I don't know anything about it. I don't remember it, but I have a license for it.
So then when you're sitting in on stuff, working with producers, how are you giving feedback? Like
Poor Decisions, there's 7 different versions of that song.
Really?
And it's a lot of like back and forth. Like Paul would send me versions of the song. And I'm like, I don't like this. Or we would sit in the studio. I didn't like my vocals. Like I did my vocals like 7 times for that song. Chambers County, there's like 5 versions of that song. Night Rehab, there's 4 versions of that song. It's just, I work on it until it's perfect.
Yeah.
And
that's the kind of thing.
I can't play a fucking tune on an instrument, but like I hear things. Like I can make a noise with my mouth and tell them what I want it to sound like. But I mean, for the most part, like I have so much respect for like DJs and producers because I don't know fucking shit about it and they make it happen. Same thing like with my band. Like I literally just show up and sing. I don't do anything. I literally tell them all the time. I'm like, I'm not shit without y'all. Like, thank you. My band is like my babies. Like when we have rehearsals, I'm like, I feed them. They usually have everything set up when I get there. So I literally just like plug in my in-ears and good to go.
Are you typically always working with the same band? I know. Okay, that's what I think is very interesting here in Nashville is how
I've had my guys for like a little over a year now.
Okay, but so I see some artists like share bands, or then obviously like guys in the band or get picked up to go on tour with somebody, and then it's like now we got to fill in this drummer.
I do. I usually I do have 2 drummers that like I alternate with. Like,
gotcha.
They're both on the road all the time, but it somehow always works out with their schedules.
Yeah.
Like one's always here for me.
Like I don't know how it works out, but it somehow just
always works out in my favor, which I'm okay with.
Okay. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about this upcoming project. I mean, what are we thinking? When is this going to come out?
So
when do you want it to come out?
Originally, it was supposed to come out in November. And then life happened. I lost my best friend in August, and I had to I don't ever feel things or allow myself to feel things. And so I literally took a month off of music, which I've never done in my entire life. I was literally going crazy because I wasn't working, but I had to allow myself to feel things. And I decided to, which I'm fucking insane for doing this, but I was like, I want to make an album for him in the middle of making my own record. And so in September, I started working on an album, or it's like an EP that I'm actually going to put out March 15th, the day before his birthday. And it's just songs that I've written for him and my process of grieving and mental illness and mental health, shit that no one ever talks about. And I'm working with this producer, Jen Miller, and her boyfriend, Pete. And we've never worked together before, but we have made some of my favorite music that I've ever done. And it's weird because the sound is like a bluegrassy pop, which is not my vibe at all. But it's so good, and I'm so ready for that to come out because that making this album has been so healing for me. Yeah. And like I said, I kind of put a break on my actual record because I mean, realistically, it's done. But I wanted to put something out for his daughters. He had 2 daughters and his family, and 50% of this album is going to be donated to a men's mental health organization here, and then the other 50%, his daughters are going to own the masters for that record for the rest of their life. I'm not making a dime off of it. This is for them, and this is my healing. That's what I'm doing first, and then my album will come out. But I am going to release a single in February off my actual record before I release my sad shit, and then the album will come out sometime next year. Okay. Hoping right before summer. So drop. Preview in February. We're gonna cry in March, and then hopefully and then we're getting back into it in the summer. We're back into our boss shit in the summer. How many songs are you thinking that are on here for your own one? My actual album. So It's actually a 2-part EP that I'm like putting out. And they'll both have 6 songs each.
Okay.
So the first part of the project is called 77665, which is my hometown zip code.
That's
and
okay.
it's like all songs that I wrote about like my hometown and growing up and like shit that like I gone through as a child. And then I'm gonna release 37209 later in the year. And that's like the Nashville side of the story. It's kind of like where I am now.
Gotcha.
And it's like that album's gonna have like collaborators on there with like artists here that I have always looked up to, which I'm super pumped about. And
Can you name any of them or
I'm
no?
not. It's gonna be a surprise.
Nice. I feel like
so-
if you can't name them, then that's a good thing.
It's a surprise. I like when I tell you like I said earlier, I networked my ass off.
Yeah.
I met some amazing writers that like I've always appreciated, and I didn't know that they were writers on songs that I loved until like I got to know them, and then I started working with them, and it's just kind of became like a passion project now because it's kind of a full circle moment, like working with people that like I've always listened to, but I didn't really understand the behind the scenes, and now I do.
Yeah, that's a crazy
So-
part about Nashville is the whole writers aspect. Like I was just saying a little bit before that Darren, one of the DJs here, Dirty Darren, and then Jevity, who's Kane Brown's DJ, we all just sat down and we were kind of talking about how Jevity on the road has been working with so many of the members in Kane's group, and they're always going through writing and the process of it and everything like that. And it's not something that I ever really thought about. But then you're talking about even when you're just out networking, especially here, you never know who has a writing credit on this song or this song or this song because of how common it is to just do writing sessions. Just,
Absolutely.
And just link
the
up.
amount of we should write sometimes that I get a day. Not a day. That sounds so fucking douchey. But it'd be like when I'm out, like people that are like, we should write sometime. And I'm like, okay.
So
ask
how do
me,
you go?
ask me
and-
when I'm not blackout at Red Door at 1 a.m., please. Like,
or
send me
maybe
a
that's when you're
text.
going to write something good.
Honestly, I've written some good shit after the bar.
Yeah.
But
Then you wake up in the morning, you're like, I don't know if I should have wrote this.
I like when I drink, like I said, I make poor decisions. So it's a lot of anxiety the next day because I'm always like, what the fuck did I say?
Who did I text?
Who
What did I
say?
say?
Oh my God, that's the worst. Sometimes I don't even like my camera roll, my text messages. I'll take like 3 days before I look at them.
Just delete them. Don't even look at them. Didn't happen.
I have like 1,700 unread text messages.
Oh,
It's a fucking problem.
you're one of those people.
I'm one of those people.
Oh, man.
But I texted you back. You're welcome.
That's hey, there we go. I feel important now.
You're important
So-
now.
So explain to me a little bit about like how you go about your process of writing. Like we were talking about, I would love to be able to sit in on a writer's session with artists here because I think just the process of it has to be crazy. Of like, do you have a concept prior to going in there, or you just kind of go in?
It honestly depends. Like sometimes I have a concept. Like my song "Not Your Rehab." Like I had that idea for a year.
Okay.
And then on my way there, I was like, what the fuck am I going to write about? And then it ended up being that song. And then for a writing, how to explain this?
That's what I'm saying. It's
Like-
hard. It's hard to understand.
Sometimes, like my notes, I have so many ideas, like so many song ideas. But I love to kind of gatekeep those until like I'm in a room with someone that I'm like, I know I can write this song with them. But I also love going into a write and it's just like me and an artist and a track guy.
Okay.
And me and this other like songwriter will sit there and we'll kind of go back and forth for like an hour. And it's like almost like whatever everyone's feeling that day. Like that's almost like the first thing you hear in a writing session. It's like, what are we feeling today? And it's like, oh, we're in therapy. And then
I'm the counselor today. Okay.
you're the counselor, yeah. So it's it honestly just depends on the day. Like I don't know how to explain like how a write goes because it literally just depends on the day. Like I wrote a song called "Till You Leave" and I'm obsessed with it. That's my next single. And that write that day, I got there and I was brutally hungover. Like I was not like my best. Like, but I don't cancel. So I was like, I'm gonna go in. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna write about. I'd even like that day. I felt like such a piece of shit because I didn't even track the vocals. Like I made someone else track the vocals. I just felt like shit. I couldn't do it, and that was on me. I was so hungover. But I mean, I wrote a good song.
Yeah.
And now it's coming out. But it just depends on the fucking day and who you're writing with, honestly. And then like writing for other artists, that can be very tricky for me, especially like if I don't know an artist. Like I'm writing for an artist on the 13th that I've never worked with, and this like past week I've been like studying their music to like try to get a vibe for like what can I write about, and it's harder than it like looks.
So when you're doing something like that, do they give you like a, hey, I want the song to be about this, or you just...
So this artist particularly, like, they're not even going to be there when I'm writing. Like, it's going to be me. I'm bringing in, like, their manager asked me to bring in other people for the write. So, like, I'm just showing up and hopefully going to write a song for this artist and hopefully they like it.
And then they just basically tell
They're
you,
gonna put it
hey,
out.
yeah, do we want to cut this or not? Okay. That's interesting.
And so we also do, like, a lot of, like, writing camps where, like, an artist will pick certain songwriters and we'll go out for, like, a weekend and just write songs all weekend. And sometimes we're not working with the artist, but usually like when we do that, like the artist knows, you know, the artist. And so, yeah, it's so, songwriting is fucking insane, honestly, because it's different perspectives of different life stories and like the way you interpret things. And
it's a super interesting topic, and it's crazy because then once these songs come out, there's always somebody that can relate to them.
it's also like cool. Like, so my best friend, her name's Sophia Scott. She just released like her debut album, and I think knowing the story of the album before it ever came out, like knowing like the story behind the songs and everything, it's like really cool to see it like come to life and like how other people are relating to it. And it makes it so raw and emotional to see what she went through, made it into art, put it out there, and people relating to it in different ways, and like she's even related to it.
Yeah.
So that's just like the power of fucking music.
Yeah, just how it connects to other people in completely different ways than you would have even thought of. Like even how it connects with you. And then like you're saying, you see other people might put it out on their Instagram story and say, hey, this made me feel like this. And you're like, shit, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I have a song called Screen Door that I've like teased a bunch like on Instagram. And I wrote it about my brother. And it's crazy. Like, because sometimes when I write a song, I'm like, no one's going to relate to this. Like, I don't know why I think that like I'm the only person with a brother in prison that's like an addict. I'm not. But when I put it out and like just see like the feedback from other people, it's really inspiring, and it makes me feel like I'm doing my job right.
That's a cool part about the social media aspect of it.
As much as I fucking hate it.
If you are putting stuff out on like a TikTok and teasing it, it's a great way to just get like instant feedback for an artist.
Absolutely.
Where you can be like, okay, cool, they're feeling this. Okay, they're not feeling this, or they're relating to this, or they're not. And then be able to make changes to it, do whatever you want before actually putting it out there.
One thing I will say, like social media is like, because I do write like pop music sometimes, like actual like really poppy shit, and I'll like post it like it's just like a song in the background of like a video that I posted or something. And I'll have like other pop artists like reach out to me. They're like, is this yours? Are you cutting it?
And want to take it?
Yeah. And
okay.
So that's like one thing I do love about social media.
Yeah.
It is great to get my shit out as much as I fucking hate it. And it's cringy.
Which that's another thing where Alana McCready, do you know who she is? She's a country singer that plays a tin roof all the time. She's one of my friends from back in Wisconsin. She went to school there, but lives out here now. She shares a band with another guy that plays a tin roof who wrote the song for Bailey Zimmerman. Basically, he had the song completely written, completely done. Somehow, I don't know how Bailey ended up hearing it, but then Bailey basically asked him like, hey, are you going to cut this song? Can I take it?
Was it Rockin' a Hard Place?
Yeah.
My friend Jacob wrote on that song.
Okay,
too.
so then, yeah. It was literally a night that I was just at Tin Roof and listening to that guy. And then before he sang it, told the whole story. And I was like, holy shit. Like, he wrote this song. And
yeah, I'm pretty sure that song they didn't even have like a demo for. It was like just a voice memo on a phone, like an acoustic voice memo.
And he liked it just off the really? Which that's, yeah. Exactly to what you're saying.
I've had a few songs like that where it's just a voice memo and people are like, wow.
And then they want to take it. Yeah.
I'm like such a critic on myself. I'm like, ew, this sounds like shit.
You're such a harsh critic. You're like, why the fuck do you want this?
Yeah, it's one of my worst fucking flaws is I'm such a bad critic on myself.
No, I mean, I do the same thing DJ wise where I'm like, fuck, my set sucked tonight. And then other people will be like, yo, you fucking killed it. I'm like, nah.
But we all, I think as artists, we're all like that. I have like this one friend who's a comedian, and I went to a show and it was sold out, and like got off, and like people were laughing the entire time. I thought it was fucking hilarious. I thought he did great. I meet him back in the green room, and he is just like
stressing,
pissed, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I was pissing myself laughing. Like, what do you mean it sucked?
Yeah.
So I think we all just do that as artists. I think it's a natural thing.
Yeah, it's hard to get out of that mindset of just being a self-critic and not just accepting.
I try not to overthink it. I'm getting better.
Yeah.
But
So going back to like when people reach out to you, let's say somebody does end up taking a song that you worked on or you wrote. What are your like feelings on that after somebody takes it? Like what happens if it blows up?
I have this one song that I wrote that I've had like 2 female country artists that are very successful that have like asked for this song. And part of me wants to like let them have it because I feel like it would do great. But it's also one of those things like when I write something that's so personal, it's hard to like get rid of it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, no one can tell the story but me. It's mine.
That's why I like to ask, because I feel like if it's something that you worked on, you wrote, it'd be so hard to give up. But then
it's hard. Like it's like there's some songs that I've written that I'm like, I don't care if someone else cuts this. But like there's some songs that I'm like, I put my entire dick and balls into this song. Like it's mine. Like it's my story. I don't want to hear anyone else tell the story. And I'm like, once I put it out, if you want to cover it, sure, go ahead. But I want to be the first one to put it out.
Yeah, and then you think about the other side of it where it's like,
Wow, that can make me so much money.
yeah, let's say it does blow up and then it puts on your career.
But it's a risk. It's
Yep.
a huge risk.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something to think about. That's another crazy part of the.
That's what this industry is full of, is fucking risk.
Well, let's talk about some risks that you're going to be taking here. Putting out this new album. What's going through your mind of like the releasing, the promo, the marketing? How do you go about what you want to do with it as an independent?
I'm scared, not scared of like what people are gonna say, because I really try not to read comments.
I feel like you'd be someone that just doesn't give a fuck.
I really don't give a fuck, but it is like terrifying because people are fucking mean and words do fucking hurt at the end of the day. And I don't necessarily like worry about like what I read that like could upset me, but I do have like a lot of followers that are younger people that are still trying to figure themselves out. Like I get DMs like once a week that are like, oh, you helped me come out of the closet. And so like I see that, and then I also see comments that are just so hateful and rude that are just like, what the fuck is that? Like, why this isn't country music or blah, 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 blah. So, I mean, it's shit like that I see that like I can handle, but I worry about like, you know, this 13-year-old kid that's messaging me, like trying to figure their life out and I'm helping them. Then they read shit like that. And so I think that's why I'm so extra in a way, and like why I'm always like full glam or like wearing whatever the fuck I want to wear. Like if I want to wear heels, like I'm going to wear heels. I'm very androgynous, and I think that is okay. And I didn't have that growing up for me. I didn't have anyone that like I could look at that dressed the way I dress now or like wore makeup that was just a regular gay dude, but just liked a little glam. So I want to be that for someone else that didn't have that or doesn't have that. So I think it's really important for me to be like really authentic, but it's also like a lot of pressure because I do feel like there are people that like do look up to me, and I don't ever want to like disappoint them in any way.
Yeah.
So I really try to like be authentic and be myself and push boundaries, and like the shit that people like say is gonna fail me, I like to challenge it.
Okay.
It's like, why not?
Do you struggle with it at all, especially like here in Tennessee, a state that is so against it and is trying to pass laws on banning drag and shit that literally should not matter to anyone at all?
If you're losing sleep because I have fucking eyelashes on, you're probably gay yourself, buddy. Like you're the guy that's messaging me on Grindr at fucking 2 a.m.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's so sad and it's hurtful. But like for me, for example, I'm not a drag queen. Like I'm just wearing makeup. And if I get arrested for wearing makeup, then you can go arrest that guy that's like doing the news report over there because he has fucking concealer under his eyes.
Yeah.
It's makeup.
Yeah.
I'm not a fucking predator. Sorry. Like, it's insane. It really is. And like, if my fucking redneck ass dad can get over this and like love and accept me for like who I am, you're good, buddy.
Yeah.
And he is like the most Republican country redneck ass motherfucker you'd ever meet.
It's funny you telling the story on the other podcast that you're on where you'll have guys come up and hit on you in the club.
Oh my God. It's so funny. Like, and I love it though, because like I have a lot of like straight friends that are very secure with themselves and, but that's my best friends. And like, sometimes like they'll look at me and they're like, you're the prettiest guy I know, Brady. And it makes me feel good. I'm like, you damn right, motherfucker.
My brother growing up would always say like, if I was gay, I would pull a way hotter gay guy than you and would like get into debates with me. I'm like, there's no chance. If you had to pick from the Nashville DJ community,
The stress.
who's bringing home the hottest guy?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like all the DJs because it's like you, Matt, I know Diesel, Grant Fisher. I'm trying to think of like Mike. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like everyone that I know.
Matt's got like a unique style that, I mean,
You know what? Everyone thought Matt and I were dating for the longest time. It was so funny.
really?
Oh my God. The fucking drama. People thought Matt and I were dating.
Just people DMing you guys and be like, yo, what's going on?
Oh yeah. It's fun. Like Matt, like we had to laugh about it a lot because it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But it got to a point where I was just like, yeah, that's my boyfriend.
Where you just start
I was
feeding
like,
into
it's my
it.
boyfriend,
Yeah.
whatever. No, I don't know. I guess Matt. I don't know.
Damn, I was really hoping it was going to be me. I feel like there's nothing more like rewarding than when like a gay dude hits on you as a straight guy.
Well, we're so
You're like,
honest.
fuck yeah.
Like if a gay guy calls you ugly, you're fucking hideous. Like you're hideous.
Like they're not holding back. You're getting the truth.
Oh, like I saw this one girl, and she was complimenting me, and I felt so bad. And she was wearing like low-rise jeans, which like my ass does not feel secure in this. I would never wear those. But I was just looking at her, and I was like, that was a choice. Low-rise jeans were a choice. And it's
Wait,
just,
you actually said that out loud to
yeah,
her?
I have like word vomit so fucking bad. Like if I'm thinking something, like it's coming out.
Yeah.
And I hate it. It gets me in trouble so much. Like so fucking much.
But it also probably makes you really fun to hang around with.
I'm fucking honest. If
Yeah.
anything. Like when my girlfriends are getting ready, like I'm the one that they call. They're like, is this ugly? And I'm like,
You're just
"That's
getting
fucking
FaceTimes
hideous."
all the time.
My friend Sophia, she'll send me like she just went on tour and she sent me like 15 pictures and I had to like go through them like, this is gross. I would never wear this. Like you can do better.
Does she always listen to you?
Sometimes.
I was like, I don't know if then you end up seeing the pictures of her and you're like, God damn it, I told you that was ugly.
Why'd you even ask me?
Yeah. You're like the disrespect. You don't even fucking ask me.
So
next
when
time.
she made her Opry debut, I swear she ordered 45 different outfits for the Opry, which like I get it, like it's a big
Yeah.
deal. And she went with the dress that I picked out. So I was like,
Nice.
You're welcome, bitch.
Yeah. You're like, I picked that out. Just leave in the comments. You're like, don't give me
You're
the photo
welcome.
cred. Give me the outfit cred. Yeah. Recently, you did a pretty big thing here. You got to go over to the Apple Music Studios here in Nashville.
Oh, it was so fun.
How'd that go? I mean, how did that?
It was actually so random when that happened. I when I had my release party for Poor Decisions, Fancy, who the guy I did the Apple interview with, he was at my release show and he was blackout, and I was also blackout. I was like carrying around like 2 bottles of wine. I was like, I just released my next single, blah blah blah. But
You're like, this is how Poor Decisions.
this
was
is how
made.
fucking poor decisions are made. So I'm sitting there with him and Brian, this other guy that works at Apple, and I'm pretty sure Brian like made the comment. He's like, "Oh my God, you should have Brady on the show." And Fancy Blackout was like, "Yeah, it's me to have you on the show." And I was like, "Great, I'll do it, whatever." And I literally thought like that was just gonna like nothing was
Like,
gonna
he's
come
not
of
gonna
that.
remember this tomorrow.
And then like 2 days passed by, and then like my publicist like forwarded me an email from Apple like with like dates to do it, and I was like, all right, so I did it, and it was awesome. The Apple headquarters in Nashville are intense. It's
Yeah, I
like,
heard they locked that thing down.
I
where
took
it's-
Matt with me, bless his heart. I probably stressed him out that day. I'm such like when I have like a big show or like something big going on, like
You need a PIC.
I'm kind of a cunt. Like I'm kind of just like shit's got to go in order. Like I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. But Matt was great with it. But we got there. They like sent us an email. They're like, park in this parking spot. There's an orange cone. Park there. Security's going to meet you out. Security brings us to the door. Security lets us in. We check in. We meet with another security guard. Bring us through another door. We go down 2 flights of stairs. Meet with another security guard. Go through another door. Then that security guard brings us to a green room. And then we sit in there, and then they all come. Like, Apple comes in and, like, talks to us. But they have the best fucking snacks.
Yeah. I saw.
Oh, my God. It was
they had,
amazing.
Like, mini Sprites and, like,
Mini
all this
Sprites,
other random.
Takis, like, anything that you want. It was, like, a dream in there.
Yeah.
It was like Costco.
I would love to. I used to work at Apple, and I always tried to.
You give Apple.
I don't anymore. So
I could but I can see it.
Oh, yeah. I'm always the one that every, like, DJ friend, hey, I'm having a problem with
Genius
this.
Bar.
Yeah. I used to be. I used to sell a lot too. But I would always try and like kind of figure my way out to get to go do a tour there. Mm-hmm. And dude, even as an employee, like it was like locked down.
I honestly, I didn't like, I have a lot of friends in Nashville, but like I have 4 friends that work there and I didn't even know they worked there. Mm-hmm. I was like, were you like sworn to secrecy?
Apple's a weird company like that where
it's giving
like,
Illuminati.
They don't want you like leaving the store wearing your shirt. Like even if you're going on break, you have to like change shirts before you go on break. They don't want you like walking around the mall or like obviously like the downtown one is just a standalone. Like if those employees are leaving to go get lunch, you have to change your shirt. And I it's part for like safety where they think that.
Well, I mean, it's like me. Like I don't show up to a show in my stage outfit. Like I'm usually in a sweatsuit.
Because then they're like, oh my God, this is the artist. Yeah. But that's kind of what they look at it as like people are going to stop you and ask you something. But yeah, it's weird. And then I just always wanted to go see it because I would see like the pictures of it.
It's dope.
Yeah, it looks fucking amazing.
It's so dope. It's and it's right next to Soho, so it's like convenient.
I'm just a little nerd like that too, where like especially like to see the podcast room the room that you record in.
Insane.
Mm-hmm. And I just like to look at like the setup of what they're using, their cameras, all that kind of shit.
They got the good shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They have the money for it.
Must be nice.
Yeah. Apple's they're doing all right.
That interview was so fun. I loved it. Fancy's amazing. I actually just saw him the other night, and he is getting ready to put out like his next record, and he like sang 2 new songs from it. He's also an amazing queer artist out here.
So is that something that after that came out, did you get a lot of like feedback from that, a lot of following from that?
I did, which is awesome. I'm so grateful for that. I kept getting screenshots, and I don't know anything about Apple Music. Like I Spotify. But I kept getting screenshots, and I was like the cover of like the Apple Music radio thing that day, which was sick.
That's fucking awesome.
I was like, that's my face.
Yeah. And then you're getting
and they do like
on?
the photo shoot and everything like on site there. Come and glam, like be ready because we do a photo shoot afterwards. And I was like, okay.
Do they send everything over to you?
Mm-hmm. But we don't get it. Like I didn't get any of the content for Apple until like 2 days before release. So I didn't know. I didn't approve of anything, which is fine. Like it was all great.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant you don't get it. Like they don't let you like.
Oh, I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it until like the day of.
Really? That's kind of nice though.
They sent me yeah, I was scared because I don't know. It's Apple.
It's like a nice little surprise for you.
It's actually my makeup artist, her girlfriend actually produced my episode, and I had no idea until like literally we did like a Thanksgiving at their house, and she was like, yeah, I produced your Apple interview. And I was like, oh. I was pissed because the day afterwards, Dolly Parton was there, and I was like, damn, I could have met that bitch.
Could have been walking
She's not a bitch.
Meter.
I'm so sorry, Dolly. You're not a bitch. You know, you're the bitch.
Well, speaking of Dolly, who are artists that you look up to, you kind of idolize? Who are you listening to?
I'm listening to, honestly, a lot of Kelsey Ballerini right now.
Mm-hmm. Just on Call Her Daddy.
I've always been a fan of her, and like I met her in Cabo like 4 or 5 years ago, and then like we run into each other around town obviously a lot. But when she released her EP about like her divorce and everything, Rolling Up the Welcome Mat, I truly like it made me fall in love with music again in a way, because it was so raw and real and honest, and she's country, and the shit that she was talking about sex, which she's always like talked about openly, like her last album, Subject to Change, she's like open on there. She talks about sex, like going to fucking divorce therapy or marriage therapy, whatever. And so I just love how real and honest she is. And I think she's like a stellar fucking artist, and like she's finally getting the recognition that she like deserves. I'm also a big Miley guy. Love Miley. Like obsessed with everything that she does. Obviously my best friend Sophia Scott, I always like we love to get drunk and like cry to each other about how much we love each other. But like I'm truly like obsessed with her as an artist, and I'm so grateful that she's in my life. Like she has changed my life in so many ways. Just like inspiration wise. You know, I love her songwriting, and what's crazy is like Sophie and I have never written together, but I love that because we kind of bounce off each other. Like she'll write a song and I'll send her a song. Like it's our friendship. But Sophia, which is like crazy, before I ever met her, I like had like a few of her songs like in my playlist, and then we ended up we've done like a few shows together, but I went to a round one time I got invited to, and she was playing, and I was like, I went up to her and I was like, oh my God, like a huge fan of you. And now we're best friends.
That's so crazy. It's such a small world.
Such a small world. Yeah. And like, I always like think about that. I'm like, I really listened to you before I even fucking knew you.
Yeah.
And now she's like my sister. So it's like,
you're like, check the date that I added this to the playlist.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
It's her song, Drink Too Much Wine. That was like my first song I ever heard of hers.
Yeah.
And now
I'm gonna have to look her up and listen to her.
She's fucking phenomenal, dude.
Okay.
I'm obsessed with her.
So who would be like a dream collaboration for you?
I would love to do something with Diplo.
Really?
I really would. He's so hot.
It's true. He's a good looking dude.
I like went to a show here and I was like, yeah, I'm into that. So into that.
He's got like that dad vibe.
I love a good dad vibe.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And I don't even have daddy issues, but I'm like, wow, what a man.
But he's also somebody that can produce fucking anything. Like you look at every genre that he's dipped his hands into.
He could hit me with a semi truck and I'd be okay with
yeah.
that.
Be all right with it.
Oh my God.
Just wake me up and then help me write a song after.
Amen.
Yeah.
Would love to do Diplo. I would love to do something with like a male country artist that's like you would never think would collab with a gay guy in a way. Like if not, it would never happen. But like if me and like,
just like
Morgan were to do something like,
redneck,
oh my God, it would be so fun. Like why not?
Like you and Jason Aldean just hopping on a track.
I would
together.
rather jump off the Batman building. That is like, and I don't ever like. I hate that man. I hate his wife. Not a fan. I literally hate him. I don't care.
But I do think that would be like, I mean, like you said, it'd be hard.
It
to
would
make
be
it
like
happen.
the beginning of Shrek when like they're chasing me with pitchforks. That's what his fans would fucking do. But that's what's so shitty about our industry. Is it's like, well, that's a risk.
Yeah. Like just one little thing like that. Oh, that's gonna ruin my image as this artist and the branding that they've built up for it. But it'd be.
That's why the two labels that I've met with this year, I've turned them down.
What were the reasonings? Just because of what they wanted to change you into?
That, and then it was very much what they thought I needed to be, and like one comment was like, "Oh, you could be the next Boy George," and
I was like, "What if I don't want to be?"
I want to be the first Brady Riley. That's awkward.
Nice. That's what I think is a little wild about just music in general, and
they want you to be the next this, the next that,
and they just try and they're branding you.
I'm already a fucking walk-in brand. Like I'm a billboard for myself.
But then it makes me, when I'm looking at stuff on social media, I'm like, is this actually who they are as an artist, or is this just what their label?
I will like that's one thing I can't say about myself is like everything you see on social media is me. I'm very fucking raw and real on there. Yeah,
every time I've seen you out, you've been the same. You've always been just real and honest.
Unless I don't have any makeup on, that's when I'm like incognito. No, it's like it's hilarious. Like I'll go out sometimes like with no makeup on. Like if I'm just going like to a dive bar or whatever, like I'll just have like a hat and like a sweatsuit on, and like no one will talk to me, and I love it. I fucking love it. It's like the straight version of me.
We'll just switch it up for a night.
Switch it up for the night.
Yeah. So talking about kind of that and record labels and turning down different labels, is that something that you see yourself doing in the future, or is independent just the way you want to be? I
would love to work with a label. I really would.
Do you have like a specific one in mind that you would want to work with?
Yeah, I would love to do like UMG or Interscope.
Okay.
That would be like a big goal. Or Warner. I love Warner.
What like makes a good record label for
the team that backs you?
Okay.
Positivity. People that are rooting for you.
Yeah.
that aren't just looking for a check from you. I've seen some shitty things happen to people, so it's, I don't know. I think having a good relationship with your label and your team and your camp is just so fucking important because like those are the people that make it happen.
Yeah.
So, and that's just like not even like the artist having a good relationship, like the label having a good relationship with the artist. I think it's very important to be seen and heard, and some labels don't allow that.
Yeah. At all. It's just their direction only.
No creative control.
Okay. So what's in the future plans for you? What do you see your career? Like what's the path?
I'm hoping, you know, after this next project that I put out, I want to start shopping for labels like this next year, and I don't know, see what happens.
How it goes.
I'm
from
just
there.
I'm very much go with the flow person. I'm not in a rush to do anything. Obviously, it's taken me 8 years to put out a fucking record, but
it's coming. And
it's coming. It's coming. I always feel so bad because earlier this year I was like, oh, it's coming out in November, and then life happened, and I just wasn't ready to do it. And I think it's okay, and I'm glad I didn't because I've written a few more songs for it. So,
do you get feedback from fans that are like, when is it coming out? Why aren't you releasing it?
Like, Not Your Rehab, I teased that song for a year before I put it out.
Really?
And I wasn't even like being like in a douchey way. Like I would just like post it every now and then, like, and I would sing it live and like post like the live version of it, and like so many people wanted it, and then I put it out. Welcome to Chambers County. I teased that for like 3 months, and then I was like, I gotta put it out.
So it's a little bit quicker. Yeah.
Just because it was so intense.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I can't wait to listen to what you have coming up here.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Stuff that you're making. Feel free to keep sending it over to me.
Absolutely. I'm always like a little demo sneaky. Like I'll just send it to someone. I'm like, what do you think about this?
I love it though, because I mean, obviously as a DJ, I love listening to new music.
I'll have to send you some stems. You can do some.
Yeah.
You can be my first remix.
This next semester we're taking more production classes, so I'm going to get more and more into it.
I can barely put a straw through a Capri Sun, so I couldn't tell you how to do any of that. I literally have a license for it, and I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Well, that's the goal, is to start learning all that stuff and turn into a little producer mind and start going crazy with it.
So exciting. So, I love to watch you grow.
Yeah. That's what we're hoping for. You have anything else that you want to add? No, anything that you want to plug and get out there and promote, aside from obviously
I mean, everything that I've said kind of covers the bases.
Yeah.
I play Whiskey Jam December 18th. It's my last show of the year. I'm going out with a bang. I'm so excited. It's going to be a good show.
Yeah. And moving over to Whiskey Row that's kind of home base.
I know. It was really crazy. Like when that whole situation happened, like so many people were shitting on Ward. Mm-hmm. And Ward Gunther, that motherfucker, I love that man more than anything in life. He's such a good person. Like he was like one of the first people in Nashville that like kind of took a chance on me.
Really?
Like he like offered me my first Whiskey Jam. And I knew it was like such an honor to be asked to do that. And now it's like a few weeks ago when he texted me to do it, like in December, I was like, fuck yeah. Like I would never turn down a Whiskey Jam. Yeah. Like don't care when or where I'm there.
It's an amazing event, and same kind of concept.
And now that like this is going to be like my first Whiskey Jam show where I'm like playing with my full potential, like, because we can play with tracks now. I can play with ears there now. So it's like, we're doing like a full on production, which is sick. I'm so excited. Yeah.
And it's a bigger room too. So you'll have more people to actually.
And my parents will be there.
Nice. Okay. They'll come out for it. Yeah. Right before Christmas too. It's perfect.
I'm excited.
Hell yeah. Are you going to play some new stuff then?
I am. I'm actually playing one new song, and then I'm doing a little medley.
Okay.
Of a song. It's gonna be sick.
So we'll come and get a little sneak peek then.
Oh, absolutely.
Nice. Well, yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to come over here, sit down, talk, tell your story.
Absolutely.
Get some promo for the upcoming releases.
So excited.
And make sure you guys are following Brady. I'll attach all social medias, get you guys all the links. If you are watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, leave some comments. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments. Let Brady know. Listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, hit that follow button. Leave that 5 stars. I'm DJ Dex. Go follow me at DJ Dex MKE on all my socials. And if you like those DJ mixes, every Monday I put out DJ mixes, hour-long shows from DJs all over the world. Get you through those workouts, the drive to work, whatever you need it for. Until next time, we'll see you guys next Wednesday. Thank you. Peace. Check. Mic check. 1, 2.
Yo, is this thing on or what?